Instagram caught that.
Nice.
We're on Instagram too.
We're on
Oh, okay. Wow. Hello, Instagram.
All right.
Good.
You guys ready?
I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas.
Oh, these aren't mine.
Oh.
No, these are Chad's. And so
Seasoned.
Chad's got new ones, and so I'm using these now because I don't have to go back and forth and get mine.
Oh, okay.
So, but you can still get one if you want. Because the company's not okay.
You think? First, I want a computer.
I
I'll
know.
worry about a computer first.
All right,
Here we go.
folks. Here we go.
WOTW HD2 Windermere, Bud 94.1. From the attorneys Justin Clark and Associates, YouHavePower.com Studios. This is Behind the Law with attorneys Justin.
Welcome to the program and happy weekend to you. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Behind the Law with me, attorney Justin Clark, here to answer any legal question that you may have, anything from accident to zoning. Dial up the phones 321-282-1055. The website www.youhavepower.com. During the week, we focus mainly on bankruptcy, IRS problems, real estate, personal injury, and even your student loan debts. But for the purposes of today, you can call me for anything. 321-282-1055. We made it very easy to interact with us. You can watch the show live on Facebook at ATTY Justin Clark. Same place for Instagram. You can watch the show on Central Florida's 27 WRDQ Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. And always feel free. You can reach out to me for anything you want. 321-282-1055. To my right, as always, my good friend and Orlando radio legend. His name is Mick Dillon. Hi, Mick. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good to see you.
And I have more room today.
I know, right? No
There's
guests.
no
It's just
guests.
that we're keeping the
You can
family
actually
together.
see me. That's good.
I know you love that airtime, pal.
What?
And pushing the buttons, answering your complaint calls. It's Skid from our next door neighbor, 1031 Wolf.
How are you?
How are
Good
you,
to
buddy?
see you. I'm doing well. I'm actually on the camera here, so it's a little weird.
I know, it's about time we got you
How are
some camera time.
We've
You're
got
handsome,
faces
man.
made for radio.
Freaking me out over here.
You know, personally, I've only been on Facebook for like a year myself. I know you wouldn't think so because we do a lot of it here now, but well, sometimes you see something on Facebook and you're like, I'm damn sure glad I am on Facebook. And yesterday was one of those days, Mick. Skid, and you can go on his Facebook page and look at it. Had a commercial he did once for a car dealer. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, you got to watch that.
Oh yeah, no,
that
yeah,
was
sure.
legit, right?
Yeah, that was legit. Actually, you know what that was? That was a infomercial
Ah.
that was "Don't fear the dealer: How not to get scammed out of buying a car at a dealership."
Really?
This guy was dancing around the lot, you know, like jumping up on the cars. It was priceless.
Yeah.
For me.
But you know, I got paid $80 for that,
Really?
and there we
Big
go.
time,
Someone called me and was like, "Hey, you want to be in this infomercial?" Sure, and there we go. And that's
So you voiced it.
No, I started it.
Oh, you started?
I was like Mr. Toyota
was-
type
Oh,
guy.
Yeah, he was the on. I mean, it was him. He was the guy.
Who's
Yes.
the guy who used to jump on the
Skid. It was Skid.
Oh, there was a car dealer. Art Grindle.
Art Grindle. Oh,
Art
yes,
Grindle.
Art Grindle back in the day.
Oh my goodness. 321-282-1055. Listen, if you have parents who are getting up there in age a little bit, and you're wondering how you are going to pay for them or how they're going to take care of themselves financially when they stop working or when their retirement savings run out and they're living just on Social Security, I want you to stick around because we have some ideas that might be an easy solution to make your parents' financial life better as they go into these golden years. Supposed to be the best time of people's lives as they get older, you know, but it seems like they're saddled with debt, don't know what to do, and they can't enjoy their lives because they're stressed out because they have no money and they have a lot of debt. So if you have parents who are getting up there in age, stick around. Also, if you went through a foreclosure a few years ago, especially if it's a foreclosure by Wells Fargo, stick around because it's just come out recently that maybe a computer glitch. Wells Fargo's on fire, by the way, guys. I mean, they are absolutely on fire out there. A computer glitch might have accidentally foreclosed on hundreds and hundreds of people across the nation.
Whoops. Yeah.
I mean, this company is spending billions of dollars trying to rebrand themselves. You've seen the commercials,
Yes.
and they just keep getting whacked with stupid things that they've done.
Oh.
So if you got foreclosed on, especially by Wells Fargo, stick around because there's some things that you might be able to do to maybe get back at them. Happy to be back from vacation joining you guys today. It was a great trip, Mick. Absolutely fantastic trip
Where'd you
until
go?
the last day. We were
get stuck on a plane.
We were in Boston, right? So yeah, I used to live in Boston for a long time. So we were up there, great time, everything was good. I didn't know when I wanted to come home, so I didn't book a flight till the day before. Finally, I was like, okay, probably time to go home, book a flight. So when you do that, you pay kind of top dollar for the flight, right? So it was a fairly expensive fare. Bought it, let's say Friday at 5 p.m. And I'm like, great. I'm going to take the early morning flight out Saturday morning, the 5:30 a.m. flight, the first flight. You can't go wrong with the first flight because nothing bad has happened yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So the first
exactly.
flight's not going to be delayed until you wake up at 2:30 to head to the airport and you get an email from JetBlue saying, sorry, bro, we canceled your flight.
What was the reason?
Look,
He was the only one that bought a ticket.
what was the excuse? You mean? So I'm like, look, no problem. They said, but don't worry. And this is the email they sent to me. Don't worry. We booked you on a flight for 2:46 p.m. I'm like, yeah, that sucks. I wanted to get home, but no big deal. So we got an Airbnb because there's no hotels in my old neighborhood in Boston. It's just you have to rent an apartment essentially. And Airbnb, I know they're going to kick us out at 11 o'clock, right? But yeah, I figured there'd be a little bit of a leeway there. Okay, let us stay till 11:30 or something. I'm not asking for a really late checkout. I'm just saying, give me a little, give me a break here. About 10:30, I'm thinking to myself, I need to look at that email a little better. The one that cancels my 5:30 a.m. flight and makes it 2:46. And I realize it's a 2:46 flight the next day.
No.
Oh, wow.
So it was not a 2:46 for that Saturday, several hours later. It was for the next day. And I'm like, okay, so now I've wasted a few hours trying to figure out what to do because I thought it was just a later flight. We'll just go to the airport and have a couple of beers and kill a couple hours. No big deal. Now I realize we have a whole day to kill. 11:00 a.m.
Get out.
Get out.
We got this thing rented later today.
11 o'clock. They're show up like, look, man, it's time to go. Now, meanwhile, I have my kid with me. You know what I mean? I mean, this isn't like just I'm traveling by myself. I have a family with me to deal with too. Not deal with, to take care of.
Deal with.
Yeah, that didn't sound great. No. So 11 o'clock, boom, 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 get out. Okay. Unfortunately, there are tornado warnings. Terrible, horrible thunderstorms rolling through Boston this time. Terrible thunderstorms.
Really?
Awful. So the air travel is already messed up anyway now because, the weather was bad. It was like Florida bad. So walk outside because they kick us out. Absolutely pouring down rain. It was monsoon rain. 2 suitcases, a family waiting on Uber outside because we got kicked out. Just getting soaking wet in the middle of the city.
They wouldn't even let you stay.
No, man.
Wow.
Oh,
Get out.
Get out.
Get out. We had no choice. We had to get out. So we're getting soaking wet. We don't know what to do. I'm like, don't worry. We'll just book a hotel. Yeah, we'll make an extra day out of it. Hotels totally sold out in Boston. There's some event there. No hotels. I have a friend that lives in, maybe a little south of town. So I'm like, Clark, I'm just going to call Joe. I'm sure they'd be happy for us to come over. Say, don't do that. I hate bothering people. So I call him because we went to see them earlier in the week. It's like, hey, Joe, just want to say hi. I wanted to say really good to see you earlier. I was trying to feel them out, see what they were up to. Like, what are you guys up to this weekend? He didn't know I was still in town. He's like, oh, we're heading down for a party down the Cape, grandmother's birthday or something. I was like, okay, well, just wanted to say good to see you. Hang up because I didn't want to interrupt their weekend. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's head to the airport. So we get an Uber, head to the airport. The story gets worse in a minute, too. Head to the airport. We head to the airport. I'm like, surely they can get us on a flight. So let me tell you the big problem through this whole scenario. So, I have a 6-month-old daughter at home.
Yeah.
Daughter stayed here in Orlando with grandma. But apparently when you have a young child and you're breastfeeding, you have to keep breastfeeding even if you're not with the daughter, and you don't want to waste this milk. So the whole time you save it and you put it in the freezer. Yeah. So the day before we leave, we're walking all around town trying to find a cooler because we need to get the breast milk back to Orlando as well, because it's like a whole smorgasbord, whatever. It's a lot, right? So now we're stuck in the city, getting rained on, trying to figure out what to do with this breast milk, first of all, which is a disaster. I have a family, but the real issue was how do we get this breast milk on? And so we get there and they're like, you know what, we understand. And we see you have a family. We're going to put you on the 2:46 flight today. Like, okay. So we are going to get out of here today on Saturday. So we wait around all day long, get to the gate. They're like, look, man, I don't know who told you could be on this flight. There's no chance in hell you're getting on this flight today. There's no chance in the world that you're getting on any flight today whatsoever. So finally, I'm like, oh, okay. And now Pilar's mad, she's mad at me for some reason at this point. So, it causes fights right there. And so I'm like, look, I don't know. So I call my friend, like, Joe, earlier I wasn't just trying to say good to see you. I'm kind of stuck. He's like, well, don't worry. You just go on down to my house. We're not there, but we leave the doors unlocked because, you know, it's a nice neighborhood or whatever.
Really?
So we go down to their house.
How do we know this?
Yeah, I know. I won't give
What's
you the
that address?
Yeah,
What's the
right.
address? Yeah.
So we finally get home, I think, like midnight Sunday night. And then, you know, but then that sucks too because Monday morning you're back to work. You know,
Yeah.
there's no
So
decompression
you did
period.
wait another day.
So yeah, so we waited about 36 hours. It took about almost, I guess, 48 hours to get home. So I mean, that part was terrible.
Wow.
Next time, drive.
The breast milk made it, if you want.
Good.
Oh, good.
Still
Yes.
frozen.
Wow.
So that was good. 321-282-1055. Speaking of airlines,
How do you follow that?
well, here's how you follow it. I think what you do is you have kids flying alone and you're an airline and you think it's a good idea to rent hotel rooms and put the children in the hotel rooms. Look, I'm not trying to call out Frontier Airlines here because I don't really know what happened exactly, but the article reads that we have two, like a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old flying by themselves. Which, first of all, I don't know. Look,
That's
I mean,
correct.
is that legit anyway? I mean, if you're a parent, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
I've heard it happen. It freaks me out.
Would
I
you
wouldn't-
do it?
No,
I mean,
not at
there you
all.
go.
I mean,
I know
I'm-
some parents that are separated. They do that.
I mean, there's an age where I'm sure it's okay to let your kid fly alone, but 9 and 7 seems a little light to me. But I don't know. Look, I'm not judging you. Look, maybe when my kid's 9, I'll think it's a good idea. But as I sit here today, I'm not sure it is. Anyway, so these children are flying alone on Frontier Airlines, and you might even know the story a little better than I do. My understanding is somehow they ended up landing in Orlando, correct? Or
No, they didn't make it. They were going to them.
Okay, they were
And
heading
we
for
had
Orlando.
storms in the airport, so they diverted the flight. I think it was Atlanta they diverted.
That's correct, actually.
And then Frontier puts them up in a hotel because they couldn't get a flight out that day. So here are these two kids, and they threw them in together at a hotel with other kids in the same boat, apparently. Kids they don't know. Here they are bunking together with kids they don't even know.
Yeah.
Did they
9
provide
and
the
7.
vodka as well, or no?
Yeah, exactly. That just sounds bad.
I don't know, but anyway, they finally got home, and they couldn't call. They didn't even notify the parents for hours.
Ay, ay, ay.
So they didn't. They were in limbo. And what do you do?
But what is the right thing to do on that? I mean, at what age do you let your children fly alone? Let's go around the room. What do you think, Skip?
I'd say maybe. I want to say probably 14, maybe.
12.
Maybe.
I
Well,
think 12. Maybe not.
And beautiful Brianna's here as well. Brianna, you can just wait. What do you think? At 12, up or down? Age 12 or under? To let your child fly alone. How old? Down?
13.
13?
Yeah.
All right. Brianna says 13. I mean, I'm kind of with you. And 12, 14, 15, maybe around that age. But 9 and 7, that seems a little
Yeah,
aggressive
very
to
young.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really trying to get rid of your children that bad. I mean,
They were very responsible kids.
oh, yeah.
So they knew what to do.
I heard they really barely even fed them. I mean, that's what I heard. This is all conjecture.
plenty
I'm
of
not sure that's what
peanuts.
the article said.
Yeah.
Peanuts.
Yes.
Did the hotel room have one of those cash bars?
Yeah, I
that
hope
go in
so.
there?
Yeah.
It's
I sure hope
$12
so.
peanuts.
Sorry. Ice cream is extra.
I have my own car problems as well, it seems. I can't, look, I
Man,
can't keep
you
two
need
cars.
to start going to church, buddy.
I need to buy
Yeah,
new
come
cars
on.
is what it is. I think it's like I don't have time to go deal with that, man. These cars just keep breaking down on me. Right? I mean, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. I got stuck. I went and picked it up. Get back Sunday night. Monday morning, I go pick up my car. On the way to my office Monday morning, right? Okay, everything's fine. It sounds a little funny, actually. I go to my office, then I have a coffee meeting, one of those annoying coffee meetings with someone at Starbucks in like Castleberry or something. Drive to Castleberry, have the meeting. We walk out together. I get in my car. He's like, good to meet you, man. Just met this guy.
Yeah.
There's a business meeting. I'm like, start my car. Won't start. The thing is just dead. So I have to call the mechanic. I'm like, bro, can you get over here and like figure out what's going on? I just picked it up from your shop. So he comes and like charges me up. He's like, well, you're gonna have to bring it back down to the shop. Still there, of course. Now what? A week later.
Nice.
321-282-1055. If you have elderly parents and they have some debt and you're wondering how you're going to take care of them financially, I would stick around and listen to this program on Bud 94.1.
Hey. And we thought we had a bad. Jeez, man. Wow.
The beer was good at Boston Beer Works, though.
Well, good. I'm glad that they took care of you that way. Hey. Now, listen, I've got a Buick, a 2002.
No problem.
And the 99 Corolla, I'll trade you.
My car's smoking every morning.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, so there's an oil leak.
That's not good for you.
Then I opened up the hood and there were like bolts. And I guess the last repair guy didn't put back in.
It's no big deal. It's just bolts.
It's just bolts. Yeah.
Who's that repair guy again?
Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, you're on camera. Watch it.
They advertised.
Oh,
Okay, so.
Oh, no. Listen, I got a guy.
I bet you do. Right now. Mike's.
Welcome back to the show. Justin Clark here with you on a beautiful Central Florida weekend. A little warmish, I would say, but wouldn't we rather deal with this heat for a couple months as opposed to dealing with those blizzards back up north? 321-282-1055. Let's talk for a minute about your parents because they're getting older. You know, we have this whole baby boomer generation that we've been talking about for seemingly, 50 years now. And the baby boomers are quite frankly getting older. And here's what I know. I know this for a fact. There is a ton of age discrimination out there when it comes to jobs and finding jobs. Now, in Florida, it's very hard to prove that. It's very hard to sue a business for saying they wouldn't hire me because I'm old. But I know it happens. It happens all the time. You know, they can get someone with less experience, younger, who's going to be around longer for less money than they have to pay. It happens all the time. I see it all the time, right? So if you're getting a little bit older and now we're finding that, look, you've been at the same place 20 years and now they've laid you off, but you still have all this debt, but you decide you want to take Social Security. You're old enough to take the Social Security, but now we're dealing with going from, $4, $5, $6, $8 a month to, we're down to $2 grand a month, maybe something like that. So we have to have a whole different vision and view of how we're going to get by month to month. Since 1991, the bankruptcy filings for senior citizens is up 480%. We were all raised, I think, that, look, if you take out a debt, you pay the debt, right? I mean, that's what you do. I don't care if I can't eat, I'm going to pay this debt. But we also were raised in a time where when we did take out money, it was like from the local, the guy at the bank. It was like real money.
Yeah.
Now we're dealing with businesses, say, at American Express. These are huge conglomerates and huge corporations. Do you really think that they care about you or your situation? We're in a different time. So back in the day when we always heard it was terrible to file any type of bankruptcy, this was a different time. This is when you were borrowing money from John Smith down at the whatever credit union, Or it might have been even his real money that you were borrowing. Now we're in a different time. That's all there is to it. They're not there to help you out, and you should be there to help you out and your family out. So here's what makes me concerned. The elderly are getting discriminated age-wise when it comes to getting employment. A lot of people I talk to really want to stay in the workforce, but they can't. They're getting forced out. So inevitably, pensions are gone. No one's getting pensions anymore for the most part. So inevitably, they're living on whatever savings that they have. And life's tough, man. It's hard to save money. It really, really is. A lot of people end up with very little savings or your Social Security. But now you have 30, 40, 50 grand in credit card debt chasing you from when you were raising your kids or when you were, getting through life before. But now we're dealing with this new reality of what do you have coming in income-wise monthly, and it's Social Security. And so you're living off $1,800, $2 grand a month, and you just simply can't afford to continue, even if you own your house outright. Your electric bill is $300, your car payment or your insurance, whatever. Living on $2 grand a month is going to be a very difficult thing to do. It's not easy to do. But you're told, well, I got to pay my bills. So if you have 40 grand in credit card debt, you're going to be paying $1,200, $1,300 a month in just minimum credit card payments. So people come in my office all the time saying, well, bankruptcy is obviously not an option. Like, bankruptcy is your only option. Or if you want to keep any mental sanity and have money to really put food on the table, bankruptcy might be your own option. And even your only option. And even if maybe you're not getting discriminated against age-wise. I mean, at that age, you start having some people start having medical issues, Yeah. I mean, maybe the doctor says you simply cannot work. And with medical issues, you can't work. Now we're living on Social Security and our retirement, or maybe you have a little pension if you're from New York or something. But what comes with medical issues? Medical expenses. right? So even if you have decent health insurance, you have a lot of medical expenses as well. So I would urge you, and I think with our audience here, it might even be your parents we're talking about, but I would urge you to not just say, there's no way I'm going to consider my options for dealing with all this debt, because sometimes the best retirement policy, the best way to make your parents or you have money to survive is by wiping out the debt that we've incurred over the last, several years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it's been chasing you around. Don't be scared to at least talk to someone like this about what the options might be. 321-282-1055 www.youhavepower.com. And it's not just credit card debt, Nick, that can be wiped out. People all the time say, well, I have a bunch of IRS debt, but obviously we can't wipe that out by filing bankruptcy. Well, that's just not true. IRS debt, listen to me closely, IRS debt can be wiped out by filing bankruptcy. There are a few rules on it. The main rule is this. Think about it like this. If this IRS debt is 3 years old or older, generally speaking, it can be wiped out by filing bankruptcy. Like completely wiped out. Done. You simply don't owe them the money anymore. So you're getting up there in years. You've taken a pay cut, or you've gotten forced out of your job that you've worked at for 20, 30 years, forced out altogether. You have a new reality. We have a new amount of money coming in every month. Look, everyone should have, we can look back and say we all should have been saving, putting away 20% every month, for our whole life, but life happens, man. You can lecture me all day about how I was a bad boy and didn't put my 20% away. But life, and some people do, good for you. I'm glad that you did. You did the right thing, but life happens, guys.
You can't change the past. You have to move forward.
Don't judge us for not having a huge savings account going into retirement, because life happens. Look, we have kids. We have flat tires. We have car problems. Life happens. So don't judge people necessarily for not having a lot of savings, because it's not necessarily their fault. So when someone who doesn't have a lot of savings, going into the retirement phase, it's one of the happiest days of my life always is when I talk to a couple or a gentleman or a lady who, 65, 68 years old, and they're scared to death. They just don't know what to do, because they've always been trained not to even say the word bankruptcy, let alone file bankruptcy. And they have no earthly idea what to do. And I'm like, it's like, ding, 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 this is tailor-made situation for bankruptcy. I know as soon as you walk out of my office, I'm changing your life for the better. I'm saving you $1,200 a month right out of the gate. And with that $1,200, saves you a lot of stress and grief and anxiety as well. No one wants our parents who are trying to get into the retirement phase, the golden years, to be stressed out all the time, And maybe you don't want to give them money every month. Maybe every penny that you're giving them to help them is actually going to pay some credit card debt that they really shouldn't have to worry about.
Right. Go to the wrong place. Yeah.
So I would be very, very careful about a parent who's getting older who says we absolutely don't even want to consider what to do with all this debt, when there could be the most easy solution in the world to wipe it out. Think about it. Let's say you're a married couple, 67 years old. All right, your wife's getting $1,500 in Social Security, and you're getting $1,800. Now we're living on $3,300. We know exactly how much is coming in every month. No matter what, that's what's coming in. Unless someone's going to help us out, we have $3,300 a month coming in. Good thing is our house is paid off. That's great. But we also have a couple of car payments because we both need cars. So what we did, we sold one. Now we're sharing the car. Okay, so now we're down to $350 a month. We have the car insurance, $200, $250. Of course, we have the electricity bill, $300, $350. Now we're already over $1,000 right there. But we also have the prescription medication for little Sandy, because she is she has a blood disorder, right? So we have to. It's $350 a month just for the prescriptions. So now we're at $3,300, and the rest of it's going to pay the minimum credit cards to Visa, Amex, and Capital One. Why not? Bankruptcy is like the easiest legal thing that you could ever do. It takes 3 months. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy takes 3 months, maybe 4 months. It's the most easy thing that you'll ever go through. And it's cheap, too. The legal fees, we always charge a flat fee. It's not an hourly fee. You know exactly what it's going to cost from beginning to end to handle your entire case. It won't be more than $2,000. It can even be less. That's including all the filing fees and everything. It's a relatively inexpensive process to go through. Easy. The only thing that you have to do, I'm going to give you a list of financial documents to get for me. Like tax returns, bank statements, that sort of thing. You're going to bring them to my office. We're going to go through it all. We're going to sign what's called bankruptcy petition together. We're going to file it with the court. 30 days after that, we're going to go to what's called a 341 meeting, a trustee meeting. We're going to go with you, of course. It takes, seriously, 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 if it's a real slow. Maybe 3 if, it's real complicated things. I mean, 3 minutes of your life. We're going to go down there together. You don't have to really say anything. You just got to sit there, smile. We're in and out. Maybe 30 days after that, you have what's called a discharge, and it says you don't owe anyone anything anymore. Well, Justin, this is going to crush my credit. I don't want to hear about your credit being crushed. First of all,
It's already crushed.
it's already crushed if you haven't made any payments. Second of all, because of your debt-to-income ratio, because we owe all of this money,
That's pulling you down.
no one's going to give you a loan for anything. It's pulling your credit down, but you also, let's say you want to go buy a new house, your debt-to-income ratio is completely out of whack. You can't buy anything anyway. So it actually helps your credit because it wipes it out. So the debt-to-income ratio is significantly improved by filing this thing. 321-282-1055 www.youhavepower.com. You can watch the show live on Facebook, Instagram, ATTY, Justin Clark, or you can I think you can watch it on my personal Facebook page.
You're all over the
Who
place.
knows?
I'm going to tell you. This guy is everywhere. He's everywhere.
I don't know about that, man. I am wearing a purple shirt today.
Right,
Does that mean, is it, what do you think? Should I wear purple or nay?
I don't know. Are you a Prince fan? Or,
What
do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Mick Dolan is here. Skid is here. We have a full half hour ahead. My name is Justin Clark. The name of the station is Bud 94.1. I'm sorry, I didn't see what you had there.
He said, what's up?
What about it?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You need any studio mic flash?
Yeah. Well, we're building a studio in my office.
Who's doing all that?
Me.
Oh, good.
I'm sure Bill will come over soon and help a little bit or Glenn or somebody.
So what time do you think you'll come up?
I would think probably shoot like 4 or 5. And can you talk a little bit? I'm going to have my office talk to you about like payroll and stuff.
I'd love to talk about pay.
You ready?
We're ready when you are.
All right. I'm Max.
Welcome back to the show. Happy weekend to you. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on our favorite radio station, the youthful radio station, because we're still new, right?
Yes.
What?
Less than a year.
Less than a year old still. That is Bud 94.1. Love it. The king of rock.
And it's amazing how, it takes a while to get the word out. It really
Anything that you do takes a while to get the word out. I mean, look, we opened an office in Knoxville maybe 6 months ago, and I told my partner, that, guys, you don't understand. It doesn't happen overnight. People don't just like see you once and oh, I remember that guy. Yeah, you really have to get
build it up.
You have to, no doubt about it. It's like that with every second. We really appreciate you listening and following us. And Mick Dolan is the face and the voice of the station, of course.
A face made for radio.
So how do you feel about this, Mick? I mean, you really are sort of the guy over at Bud 94.1, and it seems like a lot of people are really related to you. Are you enjoying it? You're out on the town all the time,
I'm in heaven.
eating monster burritos. Have you seen that?
I saw that. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
In fact, I was thinking about coming
Why
down
didn't
there.
you come on?
Well, because I moonlight over at Universal Studios. I do a stage show out there.
Right.
And I didn't want to eat that burrito and then go out on stage. I
I
didn't want to have an
Might get a
accident
little
on there.
messy.
Yeah. I don't eat before I perform, man, because, it's good.
Well, that's a lot of eating.
That was a lot of eating.
In perspective, it was a 10-pound burrito.
10 pounds.
That's crazy.
Now, a gallon of milk weighs about So think of it that way. That's how big that sucker is.
Did you eat it all?
Well, I didn't eat it.
Oh,
Well, I
I
wouldn't.
thought it was you.
Somebody in 24 minutes, Andre, that was his name. Wow. He ate it 24 minutes and polished it. I mean, he practically licked the plate.
Any events coming
Wow.
up that you know of that we need to attend? We need to show up at.
Well, we got a big knot. Let's see, what is it called?
It's the Not 5K
Not
Taco Run.
Oh, I
It's
saw
actually
this.
a
I'm
Yeah, no,
coming.
it's more than
I'll
that.
be there.
It's a 0.5
Good.
walk or shuffle or something like that.
Crawl.
Get tacos the entire
Depends
time.
on how much beer you have.
Where is
before.
this? Give me some details.
It's Longwood, Ryder Park.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of a little. It's a small park, but
Yeah.
they've renovated it, and it's going to look real good.
It's gonna happen
Well, we're
next
just
month.
going to have a lot.
Yeah, it's
I
just
mean,
fun.
We're not. If you're a runner, maybe you need to.
If you're a runner,
Yeah.
this is not your
If,
deal.
if you're looking at doing a triathlon later in the year, don't
No.
show up.
And
for
we've got
this.
a lot of taco restaurants and stuff.
It's the only 5K that you gain weight at.
Absolutely.
And that's coming. That's coming up. And I mean, where there's always an event going on.
Skid's going to give us the details here in a few minutes. 321-282-1055. YouHavePower.com. Watch the show live on Facebook at ATTY Justin Clark. Instagram, same address. And you can watch us always on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on Central Park 27 WRDQ. Thank you for spending some of your weekend here. So, Wells Fargo, what a mess this place is. Wells Fargo, I can't tell you how much money they've spent on television advertising trying to rebrand themselves. You'll recognize the commercial because they say, established 18, blah, 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 and reestablished now, or 2018. Well, they need to probably do another round of these commercials because it comes out that just a couple of days ago, and we did tons of foreclosure work, helping the homeowner back in the day, and still do, really. If you're still dealing with the foreclosure, I think I'm your guy. At least 400 homes were accidentally foreclosed on between 2010 and 2015. Now, how do you accidentally foreclose? How do you accidentally take someone's house? I'm not sure.
Whoops.
How do you accidentally come in and take someone's house? But here's what happened. So from 2010 to 2015, this was the real peak of doing modifications, and the government really required them by taking a lot of this funding to do this HAMP program, the HAMP loan modification program. You've heard about it. That's the one where they could go down to a 2% interest rate. They want your payment to be 31% of your gross monthly income. Well, they accidentally, because of a computer glitch, foreclosed on 400 people who should have had their house saved completely. Now, they've allocated $8 million to compensate some of these people, which
$8 million
which
for 400.
yeah, that turns out to be about $20,000 a head. But are these people really going to get that money? I seriously doubt it. But they've allocated $8 million to help compensate for stealing these folks' homes, and this was a real problem that we saw back in the day of doing modifications on such a grand scale. And believe it or not, man, we still see a ton of people going through foreclosure. Everyone says the economy is good now, and the economy does feel better to me. It feels different. There's no doubt it feels different out there, but there's still a lot of lingering financial issues for people who went through a tough time, who didn't have jobs over the last few years, who maybe they couldn't make their mortgage payment. They're still trying to get back on track with Wells Fargo or Bank of America, wherever their mortgage company is. And what they should do still, if you want to save your house, because the house values have, no doubt about it, recovered significantly. 2006 was the absolute peak of the market. 2010, maybe 11 was maybe the absolute bottom of the market. We're back to about, I would say, 95, maybe even 100% of the 2006 value. So, if all this time you've been saying, well, I don't know, man, my house is underwater, but I love it because little Johnny can walk down the street, or this is the house I grew up in. I don't want to go rent because the rental market is so out of control. Maybe it is time to consider doing a modification on your home. Even if you're late in the foreclosure process, it's not too late to try to save your home. And how it really works is they want your monthly mortgage payment, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, to be 31% of your gross monthly income. So it's kind of it's difficult to get all the way there because they're such a pain to deal with, but it's a really easy concept. Take your gross monthly income, meaning before anything comes out of your check, right? So if you make, let's say you have a salary of $6,000 a month, just multiply it by 0.31. And that's what your mortgage payment should be. And if you're paying more than that, you're simply paying too much. You know, that you're allocating too much of your monthly income towards your mortgage, and the banks, generally speaking, will do a modification for you if you're paying more. So in a modification situation, they can go down all the way to a 2% interest rate as well, which is better than current market rates, which are, you know, say 4.5, whatever we're at now, which that's been volatile as well. They've gone up a little bit, then they've come back down recently. The real point of the story, I think, is no matter what, now is the time to probably try to buy a home or try to save the home that you're already in, even if you're in foreclosure. Even if you have a foreclosure sale date tomorrow, let's say you have a foreclosure sale date on Monday morning, it's not too late to save it. Because if we were to file some type of bankruptcy, it automatically, no matter what, stops the foreclosure sale from happening. It puts it all on hold because the federal court, the federal bankruptcy court, then takes jurisdiction from the local state court, from the foreclosure court, whatever you want to call it here, and it stops everything. We file a suggestion of bankruptcy. The foreclosure case automatically stops the foreclosure sale, and then we can do the modification through the bankruptcy program. The bankruptcy program is a really, really good and efficient way to save a home because the bankruptcy court judges really require these banks to be on their game. They can't lose your paperwork. They can't, you know, say, you got to send your tax returns again, I never got them. They have to. There's a portal we use, and we can see what they can see. We can see what they have, and if they don't, they get slapped around. They really have to participate and be on top of their game. And then we go to a mediation right there in my office. The bank is there, we're there, you were there, the mediator's there. And that's when we try to hammer out a deal to say, okay, your new payment's $1,100 a month. Boom, 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 you're on your way. And that's, I mean, it's it's an automatic thing. They have to show up at that mediation, more or less. Sometimes maybe they'll say they don't have to do the modification at that point. They can say, no, we're not interested in it. Even if they will not modify your mortgage, you can do what's called a cure and maintain, meaning you go back to the old payment and then make up whatever payments that you missed over 5 years, and you automatically save your house value. So
yeah, but you're still paying.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you have to then see if it's worth it, of course, or maybe the monthly nut's a little bit too steep.
How often does that happen? Or the bank says, I don't think so.
I would say right now we are getting modifications on 60 to 70% of the money. But sometimes the cure maintains cheaper than renting. Have you seen the rental market?
Oh, it's crazy.
I mean, Skid just bought a house. You were renting before for a
while.
I
was. Now I'm paying a little bit more right now for my mortgage, but that's the only reason is because I saw the rates around my neighborhood, and I knew the owners of the house were going to reject.
Absolutely.
It's like $2,000 a month around my neighborhood.
Yep, absolutely. And then also don't forget, when you're paying a mortgage, you have the mortgage interest that you can write off on your taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So there's a definite tax credit for home ownership as well. So look, the rental market out there is absolutely crazy. So if you are in foreclosure, if Wells Fargo accidentally foreclosed on you and you're waiting for your check for 20 grand, I wouldn't hold my breath, but it's not too late. The foreclosure process takes a long time. So while you hear, oh, Donald Trump's in office, the economy is great, maybe it's not so great in your household. You know, the only economy you really care about is your household economy. Exactly. And maybe you got laid off, and maybe you haven't been able to pay your mortgage. I want you to call me because I know that you are going to have options to possibly save your home or do whatever. I mean, there are so many different options out there. So in Florida, we have what's called a state that it's a lien state. Okay, I'm trying to simplify it. It's a state where when you get a mortgage, they just have a lien against your house. In some states, you actually own the house with the bank. So if you don't pay them, the bank just sends you a letter that says, my house, bro. Here, the bank simply has a lien against your home, meaning they have to foreclose. And a foreclosure process takes still a year. I mean, with us involved, a year and a half, 2 years. It is not a quick process. So we have time to deal with your housing situation so that you're not out there on the street. You're not out there trying to figure out where you're going to lay your head down at night. So the other states, it's really called a deed of trust, I think they mostly call it. When you buy a house, you have a mortgage, you literally like keep the deed